here, February 8th, 2023, man, and got a few days here that we're going to be talking about here in the sport of boxing. A lot of news has come up over the past couple of days, but got the biggest story out here to me so far is, man, it looks like for some happy days are here again as Gennady Golovkin drops the IBF middleweight title. Of course, he had his last bout against Canelo last year at super middleweight, ended up losing that bout by unanimous decision. And, was trying to figure out what he was going to do after that. And first off, he said that he's going to be in the middleweight division, but, he had two titles, WBA title and the IBF title. And so he had two mandatories that he pretty much had to honor. So one of them was the IBF title, and people were talking about him eventually or probably fighting Escriva Falcao, but that particular fight hasn't really materialized. And now, the news has come up earlier today that Gennady Golovkin is, giving up that IBF version of the middleweight title. I'm not necessarily sure what that could mean in the long run. Some people are saying, hey, maybe he could face, Erislandy Lara. Lara is the WBA regular champion at middleweight, but I have doubts on that. Even though the WBA had reordered that particular fight, because the thing was they had made a resolution for Golovkin to hold both titles so that he could honor the IBF mandatory first before the WBA mandatory. So the thing about it is, since that didn't work out, hey, now we got to see if Golovkin is going to end up facing Erislandy Lara. There is a 15-day negotiation period instead of 30 days. So, but hey, man, Golovkin there is now holding one world title instead of two. Brother Terrell, quick thoughts on that there real quick.
Yeah, I got a lot of thoughts on that. At this point now, Golovkin should just stay where he's at and go far away and stay away. I mean, it's totally obvious at this point that he doesn't want to meet his mandatory obligations. He does not want to do that. And I mean, the thing about it, was it the IBF and the WBA have made more than enough exceptions for him to defend his make his mandatories. Back when they made provisions for him last year to jump up to super middle to fight Canelo, that he inherited that the Falconer defense from the fight with Murata and things like that, and moving forward from that point, we knew that Lara was the WBA regular champion while Golovkin was the super champion. We know that, right? But since then, absolutely nothing has happened with Golovkin since then. I think his contract with DAZN is out, I believe. And at this point now, I believe he's a free agent. And with that said, in order for him so I know you'll fill me in when you get a chance. What was Golovkin's last person against Canelo? What was that?
Was it like didn't really know offhand. Probably was like around 10 million or so. There might be more information on that. But that was pretty much my guess right off the bat.
And last time I checked, when did HBO Boxing go defunct?
That was 2017, not long after the second bout between those two guys, Canelo and Golovkin.
So with that said, that Canelo's biggest supporter, HBO Boxing, which has been defunct since 2017 or so, something like that, who's going to pay this guy? I mean, that's what it boils down to. It's crazy because Golovkin has made some excellent money since he's been with DAZN and things like that. But now it's over. So and he's virtually done nothing. And I fully expect him to vacate the WBA belt. I don't expect for a purse bid to come together, for them to get together to actually negotiate terms and things like that. Because number one, who's going to pay for the fight? At this point in his career, we saw what Canelo is. He barely threw any punches in the last fight against Canelo. He's a shell of himself. He's an ace, was 40, 41, something like that. But I mean, and Laura himself, he doesn't sell tickets in that respect. So once again, who's going to pay for the fight? And because we know certain fighters, when they've been treated so to a certain point, like Golovkin has financially, he's going to be like, well, I want to. He's basically going to outprice himself for any promoter out there. So
Yeah.
bottom line, there's no one's going to pay for it for his demands. Which I'm sure going to be outrageous, but like probably would demand something like 8 million, something like that, which is ridiculous because he's not who he is. Doesn't have a huge fan base like that anymore. So once again, I fully expect him to vacate that WBA middleweight title. Definitely.
Yeah, we'll see what happens with that situation with the WBA. But for another person to chime in on this particular topic, I want to bring in a great guest here that has been part of the Boxing Source over the past few months or so. Plus, it is the host of the War of Week Radio Network, Mr. Joseph Aaron. What's going on, Joseph?
Brother Jay, how are you doing today? What's up, Brother Terrell?
Hey, what's going on, man? Good to hear from you again.
Good to hear from you too, sir. I tell you what, you mean that this is boxing conversation that has nothing to do with Tank or Ryan? I love it. This is amazing. Look, guys. He's a first ballot Hall of Famer, and he, like it or not, he's an ATG middleweight. Guys, you could plop him in his prime. You could plop him in any era, and he would be competitive. Not saying that he would beat guys like Marvin Hagler or Bernard Hopkins, but he would be competitive and he would do well. Could you imagine him facing Jermaine Taylor in his prime? Sergio Martinez, Kelly Pavlik.
Kelly Pavlik, yeah, I was going to say Kelly Pavlik.
Carlos Monzon.
Oh, boy.
Dude, those are great fights, and he would be competitive in all of those fights. So it's like, look, he doesn't owe anything to these sanctioning organizations. This is a guy who, yeah, he's semi-retired. He's looking for one big payday in the perfect scenario. Now, once again, he was courted. Yeah, he was courted, right, by Golden Boy Promotions, trying to sign him to a multi-fight deal and trying to put together Jaime Munguia versus Golovkin. Yeah. And according to Tom Loeffler, yeah, he wasn't interested.
So what does that tell you? The guy?
Yeah, he's got 1 foot out. He doesn't care. He has no, like, once again, you're going to see, and they said he vacated the IBF today. Well, guys, look for him to vacate the WBA as well.
Yep, that's what
very soon.
We just said that.
Yeah. Once again, this is and once again, he doesn't owe anyone anything, and you can't blame him. Like Terrell just stated, what's the incentive? To fight for much less money than he's grown accustomed to making at DAZN against Canelo. I mean, keep in mind, look, he made over $10 million to face Camille Zarameta.
Oh, man. Oh, nice.
So yeah, guys, already color him gone. Hey, thanks for the memories, Triple G.
Yeah. So,
but then Terrell brought up another good point, though. Like, if these sanctioning organizations, and one of the reasons why they're not going to strip Golovkin, or they're not going to be very anxious to do it, because what other breadwinners are there in this version of the middleweight division?
Nobody.
And what network is going to be anxious to stage these events?
Well, put it like this: 160 is one of those glory divisions. 160 would now become what 140 was several years ago. There's like 1 or 2 names there, and that's it.
Yeah,
that's it. Because now, who's there now? Charlo.
That's right. And Charlo, look, Charlo is going to be, from what I was told, and breaking the news here on Boxing Source, he's going to be coming back to the ring in June, and Coach Ronnie, he's just starting to prepare him. He's going to be making his comeback in June. But once again, they're going to be looking for an opponent, and that's going to be able to yield respective dollars to what he's grown accustomed to receiving. especially considering, and James knows this, I told him this, what he's been going through personally.
Mm-hmm.
He's got a lot to consider. So, in my opinion, he gets one tune-up, one defense at 68, or one defense at 60, and then he moves up to 68 because that's where the money is. There is no money in this division right now.
But I mean, even with a so-called tune-up, it cannot be a cab driver. Cannot.
Well, why not?
I mean,
And what constitutes someone being a cab driver?
what's the guy that Golovkin fight from Canada? Steve, what's his name? JR?
Rolls.
Steve Rolls?
Can that be that type of guy?
Yeah. Why not?
Come on, man.
Look, if you stage it,
hold on. I'll tell you why.
Go ahead, sir.
For Charlo to have been barking at Benavidez, other people at upper weight class, and for those things to not come to fruition, Andre, people like that. Hell, if I was Andre, I'm like, you want somebody to fight? Fight me. I'll come back down to 160. That's what I would do. If I was Andre. So, I mean,
dude, Andrade is, once again, he might as well retire from boxing.
What?
No one wants to work with him at this point. Like, honestly, he should be thankful that he was on the undercard of Tank Davis's fight event. He should be thankful for someone throwing him a bone out of pity, because realistically, no one wants to work with him any longer. He's a free agent, and no one is entertaining the idea of signing him to a multi-fight deal. He doesn't have any gold around his waist. He's not a big ticket seller. He's in now that Terrence Crawford territory without a title.
You have to get a foothold in the division first before you just write him off. He's only had one fight at 168. Give him a chance to fight somebody, to make a name.
See, that's what I'm saying. Who's going to give him that opportunity? Nobody. No one cares. No one wants to work with him. Now, once again, I'm just talking about the business of boxing, not as a fan.
Well, I'm speaking more of the business too. I mean, the thing about it, like we just stated, 160 is dead. It's dead at this point. So that's why he moved up to 168. Then if he aligns himself with PBC and signs the Al Hammond contract and say, hey, let's make money together, then he can have a chance. He can have a chance.
But but you once again.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I'll see. What happens. With that, man. But also bringing in to the conversation. Hopefully, he is in a process of recovery, and that is the brother known as MVO in the building. MVO, what's happening?
Hey, what's going on, JR? What's going on, Joe? What's going on, Terrell?
Man, where you been at, man? Where you been?
Man, I was home recovering. I'm finally back outdoors. My lungs are still not recovered, but I'm out. I'm not contagious anymore, so I'm good.
Apparently, he was close to having another case of the COVID.
Yeah.
So due to that, he couldn't necessarily make the event.
He will soon, bro. Seriously, we'll talk.
So that's what's happening. He's on the road.
But Terrell, I gotta say something, man.
Oh boy.
That citrus salad looks exquisite, Terrell. Wow.
Simple.
Hold on, you able to hear?
Nah, he sounded like he was breaking up.
Yeah, it does sound like he's breaking up.
You live in Florida, so they.
I'm back, guys. My apologies. I'm sorry about that. How you doing, Matthew?
I'm good, man. I came to talk some sense into you guys. I'm here to give you guys the real lowdown on what is going on at 160. You guys said it's a dead division. I'm telling you, the division is about to be revived, and it is about to be revived by PBC and Gennady Golovkin. Believe it or not.
Let's hear it, brother. Let's spill it. What's a skinny?
I think what PBC is going to do is they are going to give Gennady Golovkin the Manny Pacquiao treatment. They're going to treat him with kid gloves, bring him in the fold, and they are going to let him retire with dignity. It's going to start with the Lara fight. He's going to have to fight Lara. You know, and if he beats Lara, which some anticipate he will, I'm not too sure, but we'll see. If he beats Lara, what they're gonna do is they're gonna dust off Jamal Charlo. They're gonna say, "Hey, listen, buddy, we paid you a lot of money over these years. It's time for you to put up or shut up. I understand you're going through whatever issues you're going through, but you need to come perform." And that is going to be the Manny Pacquiao versus Keith Thurman for Gennady Golovkin. Whether or not
Dude,
he
that
wins,
is
we'll
a
see.
Matthew. That is a great bit of wishful thinking, in my opinion. And I respect your opinion. You're very knowledgeable, brother, as I do Terrell as well as James. But there's no way in Hades they're going to be able to match the kind of inflated purses that he's been getting from DAZN. And that's the problem. That's why he's not all that anxious to jump back in the fold. In fact, in my opinion, he's just going to retire. Because no one can match the kind of money that he's grown accustomed to making. He's like,
yeah, but
I'm fine, dude.
He was making, because remember they cut his contract, and they had that.
I'm sorry, what?
Remember the DAZN cut his contract. They had that big dispute. So who knows? What
yeah,
really
and instead of making $12 million, how much did he make in his last fight against Canelo?
Well, that's Canelo. Come on.
Well, exactly. Yeah, unless they can get him that kind of fight, he's not interested, and you're going to see that. But look, yeah, I like your optimism, and I hope you're right.
Given his past history, I'm like, come on, that's pretty much what he's going for. Like, he fought Murata. He fought Murata, you know, instead of having that unification with Andrade on his own.
Boy, and that was a lot of money for Golovkin. That was a huge event in Japan.
Yeah, Japan. Yeah, they pay a lot of money there too.
Dude, there's a reason why Fulton is going to Japan.
Yep. So you would have had that he fought Murata because one, the money was, you know, very lucrative for him, and two, he felt like he could win that fight. He basically
you know,
did. You know?
James, and I hate what happens to warriors like Golovkin, like Miguel Cotto. They turn into divas once they start being featured on pay-per-view and become free agents. They start being divas. And this was like my brother Abel Sanchez. He cut Abel Sanchez because he wanted more money. Right? And then they start basing all of their decision-making on how much money am I going to make. And this is coming from someone, right, who Bruce Trampler stated, he was besides Manny Pacquiao, he was by far my favorite fighter to promote, because anything that we would suggest to him as top rank as matchmakers, he would say, where do I sign? Just like, where do I sign? Terrence Crawford is in that same situation now. He's turned into an unreasonable diva. And it's sad. And wouldn't you know it, I'm out here on my patio, brother, and Ice Cream Man never drives on my street. And lo and behold, do you hear that Jamaican music in the background?
Yeah, I can hear it.
Yeah, that's the Ice Cream Man being an absolute nuisance. So I'm going to have to put myself on mute now. And so everyone else start talking until this ass clown, pardon my French, actually drives by.
What you need to do is go outside and get yourself a scoop of Great Nuts ice cream.
Oh, that sounds wonderful, dude. You know what? I might do that. Hey, guys, hold down the fort. Commence the conversation. I'll be right back.
Oh, man. But yeah, Golovkin is kind of like that guy that's like, hey, man, he got all of those, you know, other fights that he would rather take and get big money out of it and not really challenge himself. So I'm kind of doubtful as to this whole Golovkin Lara thing happening first, and then potentially facing, Jamal Charlo. You know,
well, we'll find out in 15 days.
Yeah, he got 15 days to
make
a decision. You know, but the thing is, they looking like they're trying to set up Maul to be part of that thing still for the Juneteenth. So I don't know, man.
Yeah, I heard Juneteenth is when Wilder coming back.
Yeah, that's also a possibility too.
And that Maul is going to be on the undercard, perhaps.
Who? We'll see. Maybe we'll have that in detail come next week, as you know, through Chicken Talk. A couple days ago, Showtime Sports President has disclosed that they are, going to reveal the schedule sometime next week as they're waiting for the Super Bowl to pass to kind of give all that detailed information. So, there's that.
Can't wait.
But with Golovkin, man, y'all know how I felt about Golovkin over the years, man. I just don't, see him facing, something like a Lara or whatever it is. What is it? Bug Williams kind of feels like Lara is going to end up facing Denny Garcia, instead of this thing here with.
Well, that was the fight that was being discussed, but the fact that the WBA ordered the Golovkin versus Lara fight, that tells me that that fight wasn't close to being finalized, and PBC is angling to either get Golovkin and bring him in the fold, or they're trying to force Golovkin to relinquish that belt so they can do something with it. Whether that be have Lara versus Charlo in the unification, or if Charlo can't come back and they have Carlos Adames elevated to regular champion, and then they'll have Adames versus Lara as unification. But PBC has a lot of options. You also got Eric Salubin on the way to the division. PBC is going to start moving up their 154 guys into that division. Don't be surprised if Jamel Charlo, I know Jamel's saying that he might stay at 154 for the rest of his career, but do not be surprised if he also moves up to 160 if his brother can no longer make the weight.
Right. If Maul can't make the weight, then I see Jamel, going up to 160, no problem. But if he's still able to, make that 160 limit, then, Mel have a couple more fights there at 154. I mean, it's just that, Adames really would like to, find out what happens there with all that. As far as like the WBC and they really haven't made a decision on what happens with the middleweight title since Jamal has been inactive for as long as he has been. So,
it's been about like 16 months, something like that.
Yeah, it's been about 16 months or so. So we'll figure out how that's gonna shake itself out, man. So we'll see how that goes.
So can you guys hear me now? Now that the Caribbean Festival has actually gone down the street.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Oh, I tell you what, dude.
Man, the Caribbean Festival in San Antonio, that sounds out of place to me. I ain't really heard nothing about that.
Well, I tell you what, brother, I'm just anxious and excited for Fight Week here in San Antonio, man.
Yeah.
This is a great matchup and a great card that's flying under the radar.
Well, hey, they got a few cards that's going to be there in San Antonio that's going to be, very good. So this is just, one of them, I'd say.
Yep, we've got the return of Bam Rodriguez early April. Indeed.
Yep. So that's real good. But that Ray Vargas, Otaki Foster main event, that's going to be really interesting there, man. I'm kind of leaning towards Foster in this one. I don't know.
Well, look, it all depends on Ray Vargas, right? It all depends on which guy shows up. The responsible boxer puncher that likes to be disciplined and keeps his opponents from mid to long range. Because let's just face it, Oshaki Foster, being as talented as he is, he's never shown the ability to fight underneath, to be that effective aggressor. He's a guy who also likes to fight from mid to long range. But Ray Vargas has a tendency of leaving that left hand out too liberally, right? With that jab and that left hook. And Oshaki Foster, boy, he's going to be looking to land that hard right hand over top of it.
Yeah.
And so Ray Vargas, to have success in this fight, he can't have those mental lapses that he showed against Magsayo. That's very sporting of him. It makes for a much more fun fight for the fans. But he'd better not do that against Oshaki Foster, a bigger guy at 130.
Yeah.
That's going to spell trouble if he does. I love this fight, guys. This is a great event. But in my opinion, it's Ray Vargas' fight to either win or lose. We'll see which one shows up. The defensively responsible Ray Vargas.
Yeah, what was the other part? Yeah, I don't know, man. Maybe it's something on this end. I don't know, man. I don't know what's going on. I definitely hear NBO's background music and whatever it is.
Oh yeah, the mariachi band
Oh
in
my
honor of Ray Vargas.
goodness. What are you favoring Ray Vargas in this one?
Yes, I am. I think Ray Vargas is going to show this kid levels. Or Shaggy Foster has never been on the level Ray Vargas has been. And people are thinking that he's just going to all of a sudden show up and outpower and knock out Ray Vargas. But I think Ray Vargas is going to box his fucking head off.
Man. Yeah, well, I mean, we'll see. I know that, Vargas does have a very, very good repertoire in his offensive, arsenal. It's just that, Joseph was saying, like, is he going to be defensively responsible, to where he doesn't get caught with big shots from O'Shaquie Foster. So you just got to wait on that to see, what happens, for that vacant super featherweight title on there, man. It's coming up this Saturday. I know that Brother Joe's going to be there. It's there in his hometown of San Antonio, Texas. They got Mario Barrios coming back in there against Giovanni Santiago. It's interesting. It's still at welterweight, so you have Barrios still at welterweight coming off of his loss to Keith Thurman against Giovanni Santiago, who had also competed at 140 at one point too. So you got that as the co-main, and then you got unbeaten heavyweights Lenny Aparo versus Victor Faust there in the 10-round bout. And I think that's probably going to be an interesting little scrap there as well. So we'll see how that goes. Let's see with Joe connecting back on here with us. I was talking about the rest of the card there. It's going to be at the Alamo Dome there with Barrios against Santiago and also Lenny Aparo versus Victor Faust there. So those are two other bouts there are part of that card. I'm trying to see. They also have some type of a countdown event too. So there'll be a few fights that'll start off at around 7:00 Eastern time too. So they'll have a few bouts there that's gonna happen in that. So they'll have that warming up until the Showtime Championship boxing telecast starting at 9 p.m. Eastern time there as well. So that's going to be something real good. Going to the next topic here, man. So I see it in the news. I know a lot of people were kind of talking about a specific thing that happened in a boxing gym with one particular fighter. But that particular fighter is now inserted into a bout for a world title at 140 pounds, man. So we got Rolly Romero going up against the WBA super lightweight champion, Alberto Puello. And that's kind of interesting there. I mean, I don't know what the WBA rules are or something like that when it comes to vacant championships. But Puello, ended up he had his win that he got in order to win the belt. Where I thought that I don't know, man. I was there at that particular venue live, and I didn't feel like Puello ended up winning that belt, man. That I thought he was, getting tagged up enough, and that Puello wasn't doing much on his end in order to, get the end of the decision. But he got the split decision win over Akhmadov in last August to get that super lightweight title. And I was just feeling like he could have had the defense there against Gary Antoine Russell, but nope. They're saying that they're going to have Rolly Romero come up from 135 pounds to 140 and get a shot to become the WBA super lightweight champion. Wow.
Oh boy. Yeah, I'm sorry about the connectivity issues, guys. My apologies.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah, Puello.
So what are your thoughts on Puello versus Rolly? Because in my opinion, this could very well be a mismatch.
Well, I mean, my thing was like initially, like, because the thing with Puello ended up, getting a decision win over Akhmadov. That was like for a vacant title, if I'm not mistaken. Though they were like the two, top rated guys in WBA, and I thought,
Yeah.
they had rules with a vacant title that the winner would face, another, top ranked opponent or the top rated contender, after all that. But I guess
not just get rewarded the title. Yeah.
Yeah. So
yeah.
I'm like,
but once again, which belt is it? Which belt is it? So which
WBA.
belt is it that we're talking about now?
WBA.
So are you surprised? This is Gilberto Mendoza, dude. This is a guy who manages fighters. Maestre. Yeah. Like, I'm not supposed to be saying this on the air, but yeah. This is Maestre's manager. He manages fighters. When have you ever seen a president of a sanctioned organization actually have a hand in managing fighters? That's a complete conflict of interest, and that's why you saw Maestre get that gift decision over Michael Family Ties Fox.
Yeah. Yeah.
So are you surprised about this?
Given how you explained it, no. No.
Yeah, unfortunately, man, I've become an old, jaded, grizzled veteran of the business who, yeah, I'm completely jaded.
Yeah. Yeah, most definitely. Most definitely. And yeah, I feel like this is something where, I like whoever's there in the rankings right now, they see this and they're like, wait a minute, what's going on? Like, how are you gonna have, this basically happen? But I think there was like a hints at this because when they had the latest rankings come out for the World Boxing Association, right? They had Rolando Romero entered in at number 7. So, him having that entry in there at number 7 in the WBA rankings, the latest, rankings that it came out, I guess that was the indication that, hey, maybe he could have had, that particular bout in there. But, I just didn't really see, how he could kind of get his way in to fighting for a world title there at 140 pounds. And that, that's just crazy that
it's magic.
He was able to do that.
It's magic. That's what it is.
It's magic. Oh, man. But, I mean, you got like a number of guys that have been, established in the division that, could have had, a shot at the world title there and, didn't necessarily get it. But, Rolando Romero was able to do so, So that is, I guess it's supposed to be scheduled for April, sometime in April. We'll see what the exact date would be there for that, But, yeah, like I said, that it's just something that came out of, left field that Rolly was going to be fighting for the WBA title. I mean, this, was coming out of that report from Keith Heidick this afternoon there. And it's just crazy that, coming off of a knockout loss to Gervonta Davis, that he, ended up, being on hiatus for a good little bit until right now. So I'm like, yeah, man. Let's see. Oh man, look! As soon as my guy Lefty makes this comment, MBO dips out of the conversation. Oh man. Let me see there. So yeah, that was kind of that situation there. Like I said, Keith Idacame reported there on Boxing Scene that Rolly Romero will be eventually fighting for the WBA super lightweight title against Alberto Puello. On the live chat, you got Lefty here saying that should check out what Oscar says here. And Oscar De La Hoya says on this tweet that contrary to rumors and reports, Golden Boy Boxing is 100% trying to finalize Tank Garcia, although Regis Prograve's fight with Ryan is very intriguing. We are focused on taking the Tank Garcia fight to the finish line. Oh boy. Man. Yeah, and I don't know, man. I don't know. This hey, for those that have not caught it yet, there is a conversation that's on Chicken Talk with Showtime Sports President Steven Espinoza, where he talks about the progress of a deal between Gervonta Davis and Ryan Garcia, in that there was according to him one obstacle that was preventing that fight to fully being agreed to. And that is something that we're trying to figure out. Now, Lefty's saying that he's hearing that Ryan is really upset, pissed off at these last minute changes, and that he just wants the fight finalized. Well, I mean, hey, that's the thing. It looks like it's almost like how Ryan Garcia and Oscar De La Hoya were clashing heads some time back when I think it was talking about those issues before one of his fights that he had. I have to look it up. He had like one particular bout that was against a fighter, and it was like something about some contractual issues or whatnot that he had. I think it was before his fight versus Romero Duno, where him and Oscar were clashing. So it's like this is basically something that's happening again there between Ryan Garcia and Oscar De La Hoya, and it's like this is the most lucrative bout by far for Ryan Garcia. So just go ahead and get it over the finish line.
Well, somebody made a post on Twitter the other day where it said fight is too big to fail. So I think that emphatically said more than enough right there for it. So whoever is hold up, whatever details hold up the fight, this fight is too big to miss. It's too much money to be made. I mean, I know they said the disputes over the rematch, who controls the promotion rights on the rematch, but I mean, as a I don't know how true that is or whatever, but I don't care. Get it done. Get it done.
Yeah, that whole thing about rematch and stuff like that is coming from a certain reporter or certain side, so to speak, and it almost seems like some type of a buffer, before going on this, before this whole other thing started to come out, as far as like a kind of like a roadblock of sorts for this fight not being completely finalized. But yeah, that whole thing in reference to stuff with the rematch and all that type of thing, yeah, that wasn't coming from Ryan Garcia, So I'm like, yeah, that ain't that ain't quite the business there. But hopefully, this gets over the finish line because as stated there with Steven Espinoza and Lefty there in Chicken Talk. They say that this particular event could easily surpass 750,000 pay-per-view buys. So yeah, this is like one of the biggest events, probably the biggest event in boxing that can happen. So it's like, why not go forward and have this bout? Because of course we didn't get one bout that we were looking for last year. So why not have one bout that we could have this year? So I say that that could be one thing that I just want to go ahead and see happen. I'm like, why not have it in Vegas? Vegas is the perfect spot to have it, and it would be a great event, all around the board. So I'm like, why not?
What's kind of funny?
Yeah.
Small side. What's your boy Lefty? They say they pretty much have moved on in regards to talk about Crawford Spence stuff like that.
Yeah.
But your boy Ray Jackson just will not let it go. Every day I jump on Twitter and I see something on my timeline where he's just bashing Crawford. I mean, I get it, but at this point now, it's getting redundant. I mean, dude, let's let it go. Goodness.
Nah, he goes. I'm sorry, he goes stay on Terrence Crawford's neck until he gets in there and signs that contract. But that's one thing that like I said with the Tate versus Ryan, we'll see how that materializes. You might hear a little bit of things on the Rise podcast. You might have Coach Calvin Ford and Coach Kenny on there. So we'll see. They have something to say there with of course Coach Squeeze and Coach Senior out there in Upton over in Baltimore. So we'll figure something out. I think something will get done. Something will get made. It's just that they don't really want to push it out this week. So we're just gonna wait on that. You know what I mean? So that's my take on that one, man. But yeah, all this other stuff, man. Like I said, you got the fight card that's in San Antonio this weekend, and we'll see what happens with Golovkin, man. If he ends up dropping both of those belts, then yeah, I think he might just end up riding on out, because I just don't see him really like challenging himself to kind of like to be there against the guys like Lara or against Jamel Charlo, like MVO was suggesting on here. So I just
what's crazy though with Golovkin, Lara, and your other boy Munguia, those are semi-winnable fights for him. You see what I'm saying? And it's not like he's just overly stacked, overly skilled against those guys. He can actually win those fights. I mean, I think the Lara fight would definitely be tricky with Lara's style, and the fact that Lara's a southpaw, but with Munguia, he has tons of experience over him. Munguia has not fought anybody, and that's been reluctant. We know that. We know the story all too well. Munguia has not been fighting anybody. They just been making money. I get it.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, the Munguia fight, that's a winnable fight, and they can with the Mexican fan base, they could probably make some decent money in that fight. You see what I'm saying? So, but it looks like you said, it definitely looks like he's going to vacate his last belt. So, if you go at this point, I would rather he just go away, just do that and go away. Don't need to hear from him again. Don't need to see him again. And your boy that was on here, he said that Golovkin's a first ballot Hall of Famer. Honestly, that boils my blood when I hear something like that. And I don't know. I know you feel the same way. I know you do.
I feel the same way, but I've after going to the Boxing Hall of Fame last year and seeing like who's among the people that are involved in voting for the International Boxing Hall of Fame, then Yeah, I see Gennady Golovkin being a first ballot Hall of Famer. That's it's hard to fathom, but given that, if he, like, for example, if he retired right now, then a number of people will really go for him. Like Lefty is saying here, a lot of writers love Golovkin. They love Golovkin. Like, you really love that guy. And my sentiments toward the guy, and I'm like, no.
Yeah, so
But,
whenever he does go in, we know he's going to be the headlight of the class. Of this class.
Yeah, he likely would be if it's like 2023. So. We'll see what happens as far as like the decision for Golovkin to see if he, ends up continuing his career or he, hangs up the gloves. But outside of that, man, we got a few other things that I'll be, working on toward the week. Hopefully, I know that you mentioned that we try to see if we can get Jermaine Franklin to join us. So that's in the works. Trying to get a couple more interviews scheduled. So that's also going to be posted on the YouTube channel here later this week. So that's what I got in store here so far. So those that listen there, stay tuned on that.
Did you also hit up Salida for Franklin at all?
Yeah. So he's gonna try to get in touch with the publicist for Jermaine Franklin and see if he could get something locked in with him. And also we'll see about working with other fighters that I kind of like ran into over the weekend in Vegas. So there's few fighters that I definitely want to get on here and talk to before they get in action as well. So we'll see what goes on here when it comes to the boxing source. And so y'all stay tuned on that. Definitely will have more content on here over the next week or so. And then we'll see about, what's next on the schedule as far as like what fights that we're going to be covering. Because, I'm in the works of trying to get one of our columnists down to the event that will happen in Atlanta. So we'll see if that ends up coming to fruition there for one of our resident reporters. So we'll get on that. Thanks for everyone for listening live for the Midweek Report. We'll get right back at it with the podcast, the Boxing Source Radio Show, live on Sunday evening, 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time. So until then, I'll catch y'all later. Peace out.